This is Seth again, and I'm here with Seth Green is still with us, the voice of Chris. Chris Sheridan, who wrote this fine episode, and Ron Jones, who composed the music for this as well as many others, and conducted the orchestra. Now, Chris and Ron were nominated for an Emmy for the song in this episode, the big production number.
It's the most exciting night of my life.
I was forced into it.
I carried Ron through most of it.
That's right.
I say, Mother, this hot dog has been on my plate for a full minute and it hasn't yet cut itself.
Honey, I'll be right
That's from the first draft. That stayed in.
I'll be the one covered in flies with the belly that protrudes halfway down.
Yeah, oftentimes it depends on
There's no way I'm sleeping in Chris's room this weekend. It smells like
depends on what kind of time we have, but we when the script comes in, we'll spend some time punching up gags, and usually with Chris's stuff.
Well, not this one.
There was no
specifically.
need.
Of course,
There was
and
no
not
need.
this one was pretty much.
Oh, gee, no, please, God, kill me now. No, damn, crap, damn it to hell, son of a...
Actually, the original version was
Shit, goddamn motherfucking son of a bitch, ass, white fuck, bitch, bastard, shit.
We had to cut. It was one too many shits.
We wanted to keep in the sodomizing sequence later on in the show. We had to lose that early on.
Right, it was a trade-off with standards.
Marguerite, have you seen my towel? Have the towel, boy.
So, Ron, how many players would you say you used for this? How many musicians?
I think we enlarged the band for this one because of the big production number. We had about 37.
37.
This is a very sexy shot of Lois here.
Hi.
Oh, this is a joke.
My name is Howell. I have a Peter for you.
It's a joke I put in the outline, and I almost didn't put it in because I felt it was too cheap. And then I handed it in, and Seth loved it, and it was the last time I ever second-guessed a cheap joke in one of my scripts.
Aunt Marguerite, Lois.
This was our twist. This is our twist on the. Oftentimes in sitcoms, you'll do the story of the relative, the elderly relative coming to visit the family, and the turn in the second act is that the person dies. And our little twist was that she didn't even get a word out, and she's dead.
That's why Mom and Dad...
That I think Danny Smith had an Aunt Marguerite. I think that's where the name came from.
Yeah.
I like that you really never see the top of Chris's head. I think even when he goes swimming, he's got the hat
He's got
on.
the
He's
hat
got the
on.
hat on. Well, we did see him once in the classroom. Remember?
It
His
looked
hat
really
looked
weird.
Really weird, yeah.
Yeah.
Just uncomfortable. I use the hat to cover up these uncomfortable horns.
This is
Curse my awkwardness!
You know what's interesting, Ron? Some of for this type of thing, oftentimes, if you listen to the music in the background, it's just some really beautiful stuff. But
The key is that we always play everything serious, because the comedy comes from the characters and the stories, so the music can't be silly too.
yeah, which worked so well is that the music you guys were writing was always very symphonic and just very lush and genuine, and it's so incongruous with the fucking ridiculousness that's going on.
Well, the band would always be very serious during the session, then they'd come back for the playback, and they just crack up because they didn't have any idea what we were doing until you see this.
Oh, really? You guys would record it without?
Yeah, they just thought it was serious,
So the band can't see the screen when they're recording the music.
No, or I'd say crack up the whole time.
You guys, the band
Is
sounded
that
like
Robin Leach?
Yeah.
sounded like the Academy Awards band here.
Yeah.
Robin Leach did this, right? Didn't he come in for this?
Yes, yeah, it was Robin Leach. Some really nice looking backgrounds in this episode.
Yeah.
Lois, you are always my favorite.
This was the first time we saw Lois's family. And I remember actually when we were coming up with the story, we were trying to figure out what Lois's background was. And actually I used the story of my mom, who came from a little bit of money, and my dad, who didn't get the idea that Lois's parents might have some cash. I think it actually added a pretty good background to Lois's
Yeah, and
history.
it really, we mined it for a lot in later episodes.
Kind of bad for doing that thing with a toothbrush.
The big production number. This was based on
Annie.
Annie.
Well, this was, when we came up with this, I remember, I wanted to just use the song from Annie, and I remember Zuckerman saying, no, if we do a sound-alike, then we can get nominated for an Emmy. I'm like, what are you talking about? Let's just do the song. And he kept fighting and fighting and fighting. No, we get nominated for an Emmy if we do the sound-alike. I'm like, yeah, whatever, fine.
My God, this house is freaking sweet. I make
Is that Dom DeLuise?
Yeah, right, it is, isn't it?
He did a cameo sketch.
Is that Alan M. from Josie and the Pussycats?
That's Eminem. Yeah.
What I love about this kind of stuff is that like the orchestra sounds so good, and the chorus that we brought in sounds so good, and it's what I always loved about that "Every Sperm is Sacred" scene from Monty Python: The Meaning of Life, is that you put, like, the lyrics are just so absurd and just filthy, and yet it's such care is taken to make it a legitimate number otherwise, and it's
Well, it's so wild to have a show that's animated like this, and all of a sudden it breaks into this huge Broadway number. You know, I mean, just outrageous. I used enough notes to last probably 5 years on that one.
that spray can looked like it was from out of 1975.
Glade.
We had a problem with that gun thing. Remember, they didn't want us to have Stewie have a gun in that.
Oh yeah, right.
Of course, we recorded the vocals way early, like a year or so before the animation.
Yeah.
So it's strange to do that too.
Ron, this was probably either the highlight of your career or the worst part of your career.
Well, I can't tell anybody I did it. That's the.
Hey, you and me both.
After all, we'll only be here on weekends.
No, Lois. It's time you started living like the piece of Schmidt you are. Wait, you guys?
It's interesting. I think Alex Borstein, obviously who did the voice of Lois, did the voice for all the female members of her entire family as well.
He's so unbelievably versatile.
Yeah. Yeah, all you guys are. I mean.
Nah, most of my voices sound pretty similar.
I don't think Neil Goldman sounds anything like Chris.
And
And who is the guy who always says, "We got a breaking story"?
Oh, the Tom Tucker's assistant?
Yeah.
That's just Jimmy Olsen, though.
Seth has been doing my voice for years.
Again, this is an episode where I mean, all the episodes.
This is a classic. This is my Mike Henry gag.
Now watch how far she goes down. See, she barely goes down.
Originally, she disappears under the screen, right?
And
he tilts his head back and smiles. That's how it's supposed to be.
And we had an issue with the network. They actually came in and we fought over it frame by frame. Like, we sat there in the editing bay and we said, can she go down this far? And he goes, well, maybe. That far, and it was like one more frame. And he said, nope, can't go down that far.
Well, they're experts. They would know.
They would know how far
they
you have to go
invented
down.
it
Because they get a lot of blowjobs.
Every day. I've never seen anybody practice that so much. But it's on themselves.
But again, this is where an episode where music was just so vital, and Ron, your versatility of just being able to write music in any style whatsoever, it just really shines in this show.
Well, in school, I finally realized that music was silly putty and not a bunch of notes, which helps on this show.
Well, I did love spending time here when I was a kid.
All right, Mom!
See, even somewhat of a straight line like that can get a laugh. That's Seth Green's mouth.
Well, it's because the first couple episodes was literally Chris just saying, "Hey, Dad." "I know, Dad." Or just yelling. That was the epiphany, was when we realized
You
that.
the louder you are, the funnier it is.
Yeah.
You could sell morality to a Republican.
Don't you remember that though? When
I can't
we
believe
first started doing the sessions, and you were like, I think, you know when you did it that one time and you just got really loud. Try this one that way too. And most of my lines just became kind of almost unintelligible yells.
Yeah. How about if you blow up the earth? That's my pathetic Chris impression.
It's pretty spot on though.
I can't believe they kicked me out of the yacht club. I barely had time to stuff Lois.
Look how hard I look in that fucking...
You're so sexy, Dad.
You know, in the 1800s, fatness was considered attractive. I don't know when that changed.
There was a Brian Dennehy movie called Belly of an Architect that refers to the rotundness of professionally intelligent people. I always think it looks a little bit like he's storing Quado down there.
Never cared for Brian Dennehy.
by a friend who videotaped him having rough sex. How's that?
Wow, perfect. My work is done, but just for the heck of it, let's try again.
More coffee, madam?
I can get that, Sebastian. To tell you the truth.
Now, the network wanted that for the educational part of the requirement. The FCC requires that educational stuff.
Oh, again, coming up, Ron Jones doing a spot-on piece of Star Trek-type fight music.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a beautiful campus. Yeah, filled with beautiful people. Now I'm gonna bag me a rich one. Meg, that's a terrible
She's so fucking
thing to
superficial.
say. Someone you love. That's what I... Yeah, I think that is...
She's got horns too.
Oh, this is we blended the napkin into
Oh,
the
right.
dancing. That was nice.
The man can write a waltz, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right.
This was a very lush-looking, lush-sounding, just very extravagant episode all around.
It was great doing the flashbacks to Lois and Peter first meeting, too.
Yeah.
Kids, if you marry for love, your life will be filled with its own riches. Money doesn't buy happiness.
Well, I beg to differ.
So do I.
Bring me the Wall Street
Beg.
Journal.
I found that money really buys a lot of things, happiness included.
Oh, you're definitely happier with money.
It's on sale now.
That's really funny.
Was this just the sound alike, or is that...
That's just, yeah. Are we allowed to call it that?
No.
Oh,
Technically, there's a in the style of, I think
Yeah.
is the.
hey, do we do the urine thing in this? Did that
I
stay
think
in?
he does. Well, that's a good question.
You're so corpulent that when you sit around the magnificent...
Oh my gosh, I love this.
You sit around the magnificently appointed Tuscan villa. Huh. This is the smartest show on TV.
Yo, Ricky, that's my girlfriend. She ain't supposed to be having no penis.
Does he? Oh, I
No,
guess he doesn't.
no.
In the original take, I guess we had to cut it
A
out.
puddle of urine starts forming around his ankles. He just pisses all over himself.
Yeah, this is not a dated reference, is it? Marissa Tomei winning the Best Supporting Actress.
I think it was dated when we wrote it, actually.
Is it Best Supporting Actress or Best Actress?
Supporting.
Yes, that was what I thought.
Maybe he's already here. Maybe he's fitting in so
This
well.
featured our rhythm section with Mike Lang and Chuck DeMonico and Steve Schaefer.
Yeah, just a great.
They could just jazz
great
it.
orchestra.
There's a lot of different sounds in this episode.
This is
Jackie Gleason.
that looks strange because we had to slow it down because it was never timed properly, and we wanted Peter to come down the stairs much slower, so it looks a little.
And he's also a
stroby.
big fan of breakdancing.
That was a tougher cue than any of them on the whole show.
The Honey Jackie Gleason cue.
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh yeah, you nailed it. But in this episode really there's a lot of background music where there's just some great loungy jazz stuff. Some of it has like the string section and the woodwinds and all kinds of good stuff. Brian shit-faced.
I don't want to mention the names I gave these cues to. They're X-rated.
It's Brian hammered, and this is like a window into the world to come of him hitting on Lois.
Lighten up, Toots. It's a party.
Now, wasn't that reference to the Mozart laugh from...
Yeah, Amadeus.
whatever the hell it was. Boy, that was pathetic.
I thought Tom Hulse was in here for a second.
God, the British are amusing.
You are so right. Any woman would love to have that vase adorned.
I saw British porno once, and all it was just...
Seth, that's gay porn.
yeah. Okay, that explains it.
And it's not British, they're gay.
Dear me, I seem to have tripped and my penis has fallen into your vagina.
And by vagina, I mean your anus.
It's very strange, though, because the sex act was something like, let's see, almost. There we are.
A little higher.
You have a lovely day now.
There's an Austin Powers.
Hey,
reference.
hey, Seth, you were in Austin Powers.
I was?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
We had him more clearly pissing in an earlier thing we had to
Oh,
cover.
great piece of music in the background here.
yeah.
If you shut us off for a second and listen to it
Well, if that's French for Star Wars collector's
on your
glasses,
DVD remote.
Yeah.
Mr. Griffin, you're the most generous man since Ted Turner.
I'd like to announce I'm giving a gift the whole world can appreciate. I've colorized the moon.
I think the original joke was funnier than that.
What was that?
The original joke was you cut to Ted Turner and he just says, "Does my chin look like an ass?" And
That was funny.
I remember
actually,
you
yeah.
came up to me after I wrote the script and you said, "That Ted Turner joke, that was so funny." I said, "Seth, you pitched that when I was doing the outline." You idiot.
Wow.
That was your joke.
I'm
No,
so
I don't-
self-aggrandizing.
I don't
it's
think I
disgusting.
did. That was yours. Seth, you pitched that.
Are you sure, Chris?
It was your joke, Seth.
Even though I remember it in my voice, didn't you pitch it? That was very so much depth in that Brian line. He's asking the valet guy to go in and just mention what kind of car he has.
This was a bizarre
Look,
gag.
everybody just shut up!
The insane horse.
What's that? The wind.
That happens a lot around here.
A lot of talking
The
animals
guy
in Family
catching
Guy.
the spit.
If I ever go back to Quahog, it'll
They
be
didn't
Still wearing the hat.
old poor people with a stick.
Bon Jovi, everyone.
Peter is doing Reggie Van Gleason III, who was a character that probably no one listening to this will remember, but it's on the Jackie Gleason show, a very Jackie Gleason's real uppity, hoity-toity character.
Yeah.
This is us going back and forth on whether adults can hear Stewie or not. This blatantly, actually, he's having a conversation with these three old men.
We never really settled on it either.
We never did.
We just, it just was.
It's the beauty of the show. You didn't have to
sorta-
make any sense at all.
Yeah, sort of gain more by, well, if it's funny in this scene for
Exactly.
somebody, we just keep it vague.
Hey, old bean. Hey, what are you doing with my Star Wars glass?
Illustrating a point. Peter, when Han Solo took the Millennium Falcon to Cloud City, he found that Lando Calrissian had turned control of the station over to Darth Vader. Lando had forgotten who he was. It was only after Han was encased in carbonite and taken by Boba Fett to Jabba's palace that he was able to see the error of his ways. Look inside yourself. You're not a Newport millionaire. I created you. In a way, I am your father.
That's not true. That's impossible.
Damn it, Peter. Snap out of it.
No! Jeez, I just had the craziest dream where I bought $100 million vase.
A Mr. Brandywine from the Historical Society is at the front gate. He'll be here in half an hour.
It wasn't a dream, Peter. He's here for the money.
Oh, Brian, I'm screwed. If I welch on that debt, I'm just going to prove to everyone that I'm not good enough for Lois. If only I had something worth that much money. Man, I never should have dropped Mean Joe Green's jersey. Good game, Mean Joe. You want some of my Coke?
Hey, kid. Catch.
Wow, thanks, Mean Joe. Hey, what about this house? I could just give him the house and call it even.
Cherrywood isn't worth $100 million.
Brian, it's the Historical Society. Look, we just got to convince him that $100 million worth of history happened here.
Note the BC.
Yeah.
That's when
February 15th.
Jesus was here before Christ.
Peter's kind of an idiot.
That's where the stock market crashed. Oh, I'm telling you, you can't take a step in this house without uncovering something historical.
I think this is Craig's
Wait
joke.
a second. Could that be Harriet Tubman's secret underground railroad? It is. Go where the train goes.
I've seen enough. I happen to know that nothing of historical significance ever occurred here. Please,
Notice
have
how,
our
like,
money ready by tomorrow. Good day.
Rich people from the olden days are never smiling in their portraits. They always have the most stern expressions.
They were tough days back then, Seth.
It's because of cholera.
And lupus.
You get tired of
Right.
being a snob, look us up.
Lord Griffin is dead. It's just me.
I like her
Peter the
Casablanca
Towel
outfit.
Boy.
In
Yeah.
this.
A lot of
Should be a
mood lighting
plane
in
in
this.
the background.
Look at the guy with the neck brace in the picture in the background. What the hell is that?
Home with a stolen cable and the little man with the penis for the light switch.
So we'll find another place.
I think that was a Gormley joke.
That was a
actually.
Gormley joke.
Quit laughing at me while she's burning in hell. May she rest in peace. She was right. Everyone
Citizen
was
Kane
right.
fireplace.
I'm not
Yeah.
good enough for you.
Peter, I don't care what anyone else thinks. All
Lovely
that
music
matters
around
is
it.
that
Lovely
I
music.
love you.
I love you too, Lois.
It's the sweet moment of shit moment.
They didn't actually give me the cue sheet to write that, and I had to fake it at the session. They said, by the way, we forgot a cue.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I had to write that just
On the spot?
yeah before the downbeat.
Wow.
It's hysterical.
Well, that's a weird effect.
I think Lincoln had an erection in that one. I'm not
You
sure.
wrote this on the, that's incredible.
I just wrote it and then gave it to the copyist, and he copied the parts, and nobody said anything.
Across the street, see, Jumpy Franklin would always make a face like this.
Dad, you're not listening. I have a serious problem. I got a girl pregnant. What do I do?
And when we saw Jumpy Franklin make his face, we would all make this face.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. Hey, Dad, you never did tell us how you got our house back.
Simple. I just offered the people I sold it to double what they paid.
What? How could you afford that?
I kept one of those Lincoln pictures and held a little auction of my own. Thanks to old Honest Abe, we have our house back, and I learned a valuable lesson. It doesn't matter if your family doesn't think I'm good enough for you.
That's right, because all that's important is that I love you.
No, because your ancestors were nothing but a bunch of pimps and whores.
Well,
that was a laugh riot.
that was. That was. You wrote that one, right, Chris?
I did. I've never seen anything funnier in my life. As a matter of fact.
Oh, God.
Of course, you were trying to be dramatic.
Yeah.
Now this is.
Well, thanks to Seth Green and Ron Jones for joining us.
And thank you, Seth MacFarlane,
Yes.
for creating the show.
Yes.
Anytime.
And thank you, Chris, for writing the
Thanks,
show.
Seth. Anytime.
Yeah.
And thank you, Fox,